Does this team need to learn how to win significant games and learn as a group to win games? Look, Dallas, you've got to beat the Cowboys. Before you can start talking about division titles or anything, that's got to be the most significant game and team that's on your schedule. Division opponent, rival, all of that stuff. Is that part of a process, too, that you got to learn together with this group?
Without a doubt. I think that, they're going to see, and of course, it starts with Dick Sirianni, too. I mean, he has got to know what he needs to do in order to have this team become a consistent winner, where they're able to pull out close games. Now,
rent's due, man. Tomorrow, rent's due. And I'm going to ask Garry Cobb the same questions that we kind of went over for the first 2 hours of the program here. I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Let's bring on our friend Garry Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia here. Garry, here we are, man. Tomorrow, training camp. All starts, all bills are due tomorrow.
That's it. It's that time. It's time to get down to business, and that's what you like, and that's what all the players look forward to. I know that's what all the fans are looking forward to. And we got such a build-up here with this team, man. Everybody's got their eye on them. I tell you, a lot of people around the league have their eye on the Eagles. Now, can they answer the call? That's what it comes down to. That's what the great thing about, all the anticipation. Now, hey, it ain't about anticipation. It's about people going out making plays. Can you get it done?
Garry, do you agree also? Look, the 2017 season it's in the rearview mirror here, even for players like Jason Kelce and even for some of the players that were on that team like Fletcher Cox. Does this team need to learn how to win significant games and learn as a group to win games? Look, Dallas, you've got to beat the Cowboys. Before you can start talking about division titles or anything, that's got to be the most significant game and team that's on your schedule. Division opponent, rival, all of that stuff. Is that part of a process, too, that you got to learn together with this group?
Without a doubt. I think that, they're going to see, and of course, it starts with Dick Sirianni, too. I mean, he has got to know what he needs to do in order to have this team become a consistent winner, where they're able to pull out close games. Now, it starts right with him because, in those key situations, what are you going to do? What are you calling? What are you going to run the football? You're going to throw the ball? Where are you going with the football? Where do you want to go with the football? You trying to get the ball in A.J. Brown's hands? He's got to get to know his guys that he can trust and say, look, okay, this is where we're taking the ball because we know this is the guy that's going to make it happen with everything on the line. And they've got to find out those teams. And really every team, even though you might have played together before, every year everybody's got to, they got to go out and prove what they can do. That's what you have. That's why you have a training camp. You want to show everybody what you can do. And I know A.J. Brown is looking forward to it because he's coming in, he's showing his work to all of these guys. This is why they went out and got me. And I know he looks forward to doing that. And a lot of that's done in training camp. I memean, Haason Reddick coming off the corner. He wants to show these guys, this is why they went out and got me, man. This is what I do. I'm coming off that corner so the guys know, the cornerbacks know. At a certain point, they know, hey, the quarterback's not going to be standing up. So that's when, you put all these guys together and people start taking leadership roles. And I know that that's something that, Jalen looks forward to. And, of course, Jalen's got to prove himself to all these guys. He's got to show them that, hey, he can take them to the next level because they want to go to the next level. They were kind of embarrassed by Tampa Bay. Let's be honest. Can they get to playoff level when they're playing teams like Dallas? When they're playing the echelon teams? Can they play with them? Can they go in their house and beat them in their house? See, when you do stuff like that, that's when everybody knows, hey, we have arrived. When you can go in a very good team's house, the other team plays well, and you beat them in their house. You look at every guy after the game. You're shaking hands with them. You look them right in the eye. They know you beat us in our house. So there's a certain respect that's earned. And that's when a team matures and moves up to a next level. That's what this team wants to do.
It becomes contagious, doesn't it, Gary? When it's both ways too. When you start in one of them 4-game losing streaks, man, like this, all of a sudden, hey, you know when the things are going in the south direction, man, immediately you start to see heads start to go down. But there's like a euphoric thing, man. When you're on a roll, it is. I've never been involved in the sport, in any other sport other than football, that it's tidal waves, aren't they? Yep. Going good, going bad, man. And they go in these giant tidal waves.
Yeah. And it's such a team sport because, when somebody does something, they empower the other side of the ball. When you got one side of the ball stepping up, and they step up against, let's say, you stop Brady on a drive, it empowers the offense and they start getting confidence. And that's what you want to see. And that's, they've gone out, they've gotten these players, they've gotten players that have been stars on other teams. Once they come in there and they can contribute what they've done with these other teams, they contributed, it just brings a whole confidence. And that's where this team, that's what they're supposed to do this year. They're supposed to step up another notch to where, let's say a team like, let's look at some of the quality teams, teams like the Rams, for that matter, starting with Dallas, they got to step up and take over this division. They want to hit Dallas right in the mouth. They want to start off with them. Say, we're the big boys on this division. We're right up, we're looking you right in the eye, and we're going to beat you guys, And if, they beat Dallas the way, come on, they were kind of humiliated last year.
Oh, I thought it was varsity versus JV. Gary, I want to play a game with you here. We kind of in the first 2 hours, we did this. We did the pluses and the minuses. Training camp starts tomorrow. Let's start with the negatives on defense. What's your biggest concern going into training camp tomorrow for the defensive side of the football, in your opinion?
Well, it probably starts off with the defensive coordinator. Is he going to be able to utilize these guys properly? Because they got players. How is he going to use them? Is he going to be able to, of course, you want to see them be more aggressive than they started out last year. You don't want to see anything that looked the way that they started out the game last year, where you got them just dropping off people and letting people have career days against them. So it starts off with him, with Jonathan Gannon.
My biggest concern, Gary, with Gannon is, I talked to Howard Balzer, who covers the Arizona Cardinals, and I asked him, how did Haason Reddick not get re-signed with 2 straight teams, Arizona, and then even his college coach let him go. And he said this in Arizona, they played him inside too much at first, and they underutilized him. If it wasn't for Chandler Jones getting injured, they may not have ever found out that they had an edge rusher when it came to him. He's 6'2", 6'1", 235. I mean, how are you going to use that guy? So you're telling me that Graham and Sweat are going to be your perimeter defensive ends setting the edge. You're going to have Hargrave and Fletcher with Jordan Davis rotating inside. I mean, Sweat, I look at him and I go, boy, I surely looked at him a year ago, Gary, and I went, I don't think him as an every down defensive lineman. I think him more situationally. Milton Williams, what will his role be? And this all has to go back to this coordinator putting all these pieces on the chessboard.
Without a doubt. And I think, that whole point that you're at right here, this is what it's all about, which is Haason Reddick really is an outside rusher. He's a 34 guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So they got to use 34 techniques. And I know they were doing some of it last year, but that's one of the reasons they were attracted to him, because he's really he's a 34. He's a outside pass rushing outside linebacker. That's what he is.
So you think Gannon's strength is more 3-4?
Well, I know they're going to be playing. I think they're going to be playing 3-4. I think, especially you look at, they went out and got the big kid. He's a 34 guy. You put him over that middle, he's going to clog up that middle. Big Jordan Davis. That's what he is right now. That's what he does best. And he would be great in a 34 because you're not moving him. Come on, you're not going to move that kid. So you jump in a 34 and you got him unmovable in the middle, then it's tough to run the ball. And that's the way they rush the passer best. Because I think Josh Sweat also, you put him on one side, he's on one of the, pass rushing on one side, and you got Reddick on the other. I think you want to try to turn them loose as much as possible. And then you're going to be doing different things where I think at times you might have two defensive linemen in the game, and you got those guys coming off the corner, because I think they want to do different looks. And this is the way I would use them, because you definitely want to have them coming. And then at times you got one of them dropping in pass coverage, which mixes things up for the quarterback. He's not sure what he's facing. But for the most part, they're going to be coming off the corner. You're probably going to have, because I think their best pass rushers are Reddick and Sweat. I think those are their two.
And I would say this to you too. I mean, all of that makes it sound like Jonathan Gannon has to be somebody you and I and Seth and everybody didn't see last year, because now we're talking about creative Jim Johnson, Bud Carson, defensive coordinators.
Well, they got the corners to do it. I mean, you've got Slay on one side, Bradbury on the other. You got a good nickel in there. I mean, you got people that can cover people. You want to go after guys. If they can cover them for 2 seconds, 3.5 seconds, we're going after the quarterback. We might not be blitzing, but we're going to send our best pass rushers. And we're telling them, hey, man, forget run, everything. We want you coming off that ball, and we want you to get him back there, So that's what, being more aggressive. I think that's definitely what Jonathan Gannon, I think that's what he wants to do, because he kind of talked about it. But I think we're going to see that 34. We're going to see 34 looks. And the big thing is I think they're going to be playing both 43 and 30 and 34, because they want different looks. They want to change things up. And I think that's what you want to do nowadays. You don't want to just sit in something, but you got people that can cover. They got two outstanding corners that can cover people. So I think what you want to say is, look, I want you guys cover these guys 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Hey, you guys rushing the passer? 3 seconds. You're supposed to be taking that quarterback down, man.
Hey, Gary, let me ask you, and I tried to tell the people this here. You mentioned James Bradbury, and I went like this. Follow me here when I say this to you. Okay, James Bradbury, he knows French. On this side over here, Haason Reddick, he's Portuguese. Mm-hmm. You got a guy over here in Nakobe Dean. Okay, he knows German. You got a guy over here in Haason Reddick. This guy, what I'm saying is that all these guys knew foreign systems a year ago. Yeah. And all these guys have to be brought into the mix here to learn all of these techniques and all of the terminology. Do they have enough time when it comes to organized scrimmages and such? Does that concern you in camp that the quality reps are going to be the controlled scrimmages? They're not going to be the exhibition games per se. They may put some of the guys in, but I mean, you got a lot of guys on that side of the ball learning a lot of new techniques, or at least, how about this? To be fair, maybe not techniques, but a whole new terminology where some of these guys have been. I mean, look at Haason Reddick. Yeah. This is his third team in 3 years.
Yeah. Now, there will be, these guys are going to have to learn, terminology, because it changes with every team. That is true. But for the most part, Haason Reddick is going to come in. He just got to beat the guy blocking him. That's pretty much his job. Get pressure off the corner. If you don't get the sack, you make the quarterback move. You got it. You coming off the corner. That's basically what he's been brought in here to do. So that's what's got to be his focus. He's a pass rusher, and I don't think that what he's got to learn is they're not going to mix things up, because too much for him. They'll have him drop every now and then, but he's rushing the passer. He's brought in rusher. Bradbury, they're going to be playing some man-to-man. They'll play some zone. Do
you think they keep it simple, Gary? Because there's too many people in there that are new.
I think they keep it simple because you got new people in there. And I think that you get a thing where, hey, it's simple as we're going to play man. We're going to play some man. We're going to play some zone, but we're going to play more man because that's why we went out and got, we got premier corners. That's what we're asking you to do. And we're asking our pass rushers to get to the quarterback. You don't want to make it too complicated. So I don't think where they're going to be doing all these, different blitzes and all of that. No, they got pass rushers. That's why they went out and got Reddick. They figure he's a speed rusher off the corner. I think they are going to play 34. But the way things are now, with the fact that you're really not dealing with run, come out with run formations and things, you still, even though it's just mainly you got your outside pass rushers standing up. That's basically all it is. It's not a big change where, before when the running game was such a integral part of offenses, the big thing was, are you going to be a 34 or 4-3? How are you going to stop the run and all of that? It's not as much like that anymore. The teams come out, they very rarely don't have two guys back there in the backfields. One guy back there, they will do some run blocking, but for the most part, you got to attack the guy in front of you and get off the ball, get off the block and make plays. But the big thing is that outside pass rushers, they got to come with it. They got some guys that rushing the passer from inside. I think for the most part, you're just beating your man. It's not a lot of, integral things that they used to have where when the running game was such a big part of it. Because teams don't really run the ball a lot.
Gary, I want to take you over to the offense here. A couple questions here on that. And I want to, if you're going to help this kid out and you're going to help your quarterback out, my opinion, man, you've got to be more in the slot when it comes to throwing slot passes, and because those are predetermined where you're going with it, and your freaking screen game has to. And I was telling folks this, Gary, if you have the number one running attack in the NFL and you have no screen game, you're essentially wasting that, because that defense on the other side of the ball, the number one thing that they're thinking about is getting knocked off the ball, and they do not want to. I would rather have a team throw for 500 yards against me than run for 200 yards against me, because I still have a chance with 3 and outs at the end of the game in the passing game to get a series back for my offense and win a game. When you're giving up 200 yards, you have no shot. Yeah. I get that. But if you want to improve your passing game, the short game has to improve before you're even talking about 2 receivers with 1,000 yards. Miles Sanders, in my opinion, is not good enough.
Well, I'll tell you this. The guy I think you need to watch out for is Kenneth Gainwell. And he showed last year.
You think he gets more reps this year?
I think he's going to get more reps. The kid is a very good receiver coming out of the backfield. He's the kind of kid you can have walk outside too. He's a mismatch for any backer that they would send out there to try to cover him. And he's very good in the screen game. He's patient. He's smart. You saw how much they utilized him last year. Usually, come on, as a rookie, they've had him in there a lot of times on key plays, so they have a lot of confidence in him. So I would tell you, Kenneth Gainwell is a guy that you see, they'll probably go his way because I think they have confidence in him already about the fact that he knows what he's doing. He's a good route runner. He catches the football. He doesn't put it on the carpet. And I think that you're going to see him because they are going to, get the ball. I think this is the key. Jalen has to get the ball out of his hands. Get the ball out of your hand. Take what they give you. If you got to take this check down, take it. Go ahead and take it, but take it early and make it an accurate throw, and you're going to stay out of bad situations. And then it really puts, I think, a lot of pressure on the defense, because after a while, guys are going to start trying to come up, to cheat up, to take things away, and that's when the stuff down deep, the other stuff opens up downfield. So that's what I want to see Jalen do, is get the ball out of his hands. Don't be greedy. Take what they give you. And listen, if Brady and Montana played the game that way, why not copy them?
Right.
Come on.
Hey, Roger Craig was a nightmare to play against.
Come on. Both of them. Because they're going to take what you give them. And then when you start cheating up a little bit, all of a sudden, now they're going to throw it into the curl route. Now they're going deep on you. That's what they do. But they start off by taking what you give them early in the game. They will take the check down. If you're going to give them 5 yards, boom, we'll take that.
And watch this. I'm going to leave you with this.
Yeah.
So I got a text message from Ron Rivera, and get this, just your thoughts here on what. So I guess him and Doug were talking, and they had a conversation, and Ron goes, "Hey, Carson Wentz looks like 2017 Carson Wentz." Doug Peterson goes like this, "Wouldn't shock me if he has a year like he did back in the day." And he goes like this. He goes, "It wouldn't shock me. He just needs someone to believe in it." He goes, "Well, we do." Mm-hmm. What do you make of the two talking about Wentz? And I know he's concerned because he was talking about Trevor Lawrence saying that, right now the sky's the limit for him. And he just goes, "Well, I think Wentz is looking like 2017 Wentz." What do you think of that? Do you think, again, is it just coaches talk?
I think right now, yeah, it's coaches talk. But, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Wentz has plays well. I mean, you look at his numbers last year, he wasn't horrible. I mean,
no.
So I think that if he gets
– he just had horrible moments last year, Gary.
He had horrible moments. And it had a horrible moment at the worst possible time at the end of the season like that.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good year. I would not be shocked at all. In fact, I probably would predict it, that he's probably going to play well because he's got to feel good about that defense. They got a lot of capable people over there. If they're playing well, then I think that he might start playing the way he should play, which is, look, take care of the football. That's what he's got to do. But I tell you what, it's going to be exciting. I know I'm looking forward to it because, a lot of it is going to come down to seeing the Eagles play against Washington. We've talked about them playing against Dallas. What about when they play Washington and you got Carson coming in here and you go down there, you got to play Carson. Those are going to be some fun weeks, boy, because
hey, I just know this, man. I can't wait for the season to start. You got the look at this. I told you, look at this, Gary.
Yeah.
You got the Justin Jefferson Bowl in week 2.
Yeah.
You got the Wentz Bowl in week 3. Mm-hmm. You got the Doug Peterson Bowl in week 4.
Wow.
You got the Cowboys in week 5. You got the Steelers PA battle.
Hey, think about the quarterbacks. You got Lawrence against Jalen. How much they'll be talking about the quarterbacks leading up to that week.
Then you got Kyler Murray. You got Kyler Murray the week before that.
Wow. That's gonna be fun, man. I tell you what, Jalen, man, put your hat on, man. Hey, this is time he can step up, boy. He could shut a lot of people up, boy.
Hey, Gary, all I could say, here'd be my motivation walking in to the locker room there at the NovaCare Center. I'd look over at him and go, Did you see that boy in Arizona get $230.5 million?
I know.
You did see that, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. I go, he's making $46.1 million now, right? All you got to do is win 11 games.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. Right?
You, boy, hey, the money is out there. I mean, hey, and he could say all he wants. Oh, I didn't see that. Hey, don't tell me that.
Don't talk to me like that.
You saw it, man. You saw it. You know what these people, the guys of these contracts, these guys are signed. And all you got to do is step up here. You got the weapons here. Step up this year, man. That's all you got to do. Step up.
I can't wait, Gary. Tomorrow training camp starts. Thank you, brother. It's going to be another great year. Thank you. Don't forget, everybody, Garry Cobb, Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Thank you, Gary. Fantastic, man. Please hit the like button. Love it, man. Morgan & Morgan, our good friends, where the fee is free. You're hurt or injured on the job, my friends, do me a favor. Make that call to Morgan & Morgan. For the people is not a slogan. It's who they are. Past 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has collected over $13.5 billion worth of compensation for their clients. 800 attorneys strong, making them the biggest law firm in the country when it comes to repping and representing their clients. Man, offices in Philly, New York, Florida, there's nobody bigger. And there's no cases like this. Well, it's just a fender bender. No, they will not be intimidated. Call them 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Many times when people are injured at a place of business, they don't realize they may have a case. The fact is, injuries should not happen. And most of the time when someone is injured, someone is at fault. Maybe the store manager installed a cheap, slippery floor, or there wasn't proper security. After an injury at a hotel, restaurant, store, or any place of business, it's so important to call us. Time matters, size matters. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.